What is up, guys? Hope everyone's having a great day. Welcome to my first ever Marvel Rivals video where I'm going to be putting the Vanguards on a tier list. I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to play them better. So without further ado, let's cue that intro. Alright guys, first on the list we've got Captain America. And you're not going to be surprised where I put this guy. I made him his own tier list on the bottom. And that's unfortunately where he's going to have to go. He's a good dive tank, but he just unfortunately doesn't compare to the other ones, and the damage really isn't there to warrant the pick in itself. Now, I'm not going to say he's downright garbage, because he's not. In my opinion, there isn't a garbage character in this game. But he does get the shield throw, where you can hit the Iron Mans and the Storms. It's not super far range, but if they're close enough, you could do it. His ultimate is good with starting team fights. You get the movement speed, and you're rushing in there. You're impossible to kill almost, it feels like. I'm never able to kill a Cap when he's in his ultimate. So that's good in starting the team fights. He also gets the team up with Thor, which gives him the Chain Lightning, which can up your damage, but not by a considerable amount. But with all that being said, there's just tanks that do it a lot better than him, and unfortunately that's why he has to go at the bottom of the list. Alright, so next up we got Thor. And Thor, for me, he's on the edge of good, right over okay. Now, it's important to note that with Thor, you're very good at keeping, well, you should be, very good at keeping the pressure on the enemy team. But the problem is that he isn't as mobile as a Captain America or a Venom. So it's easy to get stuck out there. And you got to be careful with pushing too high and getting yourself out of sight from the healers. Because if that happens, you're going to die 10 out of 10 times. Now, I will say that he does a lot of damage for a tank. He's able to pop the shield around him that gives him the hammers, in which he's able to throw lightning, literally throw it at other people, which does a lot of great damage. He's able to throw his hammer, kind of like Captain America throwing his shield and getting some good picks in the sky. And his ult is good in a team fight setting where everyone's close together. It's not as good aiming it. Like, it's hard to move it around. You're pretty stiff while you're in it. But it does do a lot of damage. But you do tend to struggle against the longer range characters, like a Hela will mess you up, Tank Eater, right? But no, he's good. I would keep him there. Long range is your problem. A lot of good damage on the point, but I would stick him in good. All right, so next up we got Groot, and I really like Groot. I think I'm gonna stick him at the top of good tier for now, and the reason why I put him up there is because of his survivability. He has this massive wall where he's able to shield himself and his allies, and that can give him up to 1100 in health with the shield added on. He also has his ultimate where he chucks the seed in the middle and it sucks everyone in, and if you chain that together with a Moon Knight ultimate or a Namor ultimate or anyone in the middle, you're going to get a team wipe as long as you're able to hit it. His mini walls, they do a lot of great damage if you're able to trap a healer or even a tank or any DPS on it. He's great when it comes to controlling the map because of his walls. You want to create a terrain where people are moving left and right and trying to just get away from walls, and that disrupts the gameplay. So he's really good at that. And for those reasons, I think Groot is probably right now at least on the top of good tier. There's more to come, so we'll see where that lands him after. Alright, so up next we got Magneto. And Magneto for me is going to slip right there in between the Groot and the Thor in the good tier. He's really good at maintaining control with his shield, whether that be to keep people in front of you or protect people behind you. He's really good at that. It only lasts for 3 seconds, but usually people know what they're doing when they have it up. He has his Mag Cannon, which is a 3-charge ability where if you hit someone with it at full 3 charges, it'll do max damage and it'll stun them for a period of time, which works really well against a Storm or an Iron Man. He can also shield himself or allies, which works kind of like a Hulk shield, where you can't get affected by certain abilities with it on, and it's really good in situational purposes. His ult I like a lot. A lot of people seem to not really use it correctly. You're supposed to charge it all the way and then throw it. Some people just like to pop and then throw, which is not what you're supposed to do. It can also absorb other ultimates like an Iron Man Maximum Pulse or a Star-Lord ult. It can blow up though, so you do have to get it off before a certain time. But if you get hit like a healer or anyone in the crowd, you're going to do a lot of damage with them. And that's not even to mention his team-up ability with Scarlet Witch, in which he gains a massive sword and he's able to shoot enemies at a distance and do massive amounts of damage. Now, I'm trying to rank these guys based off of just their characters themselves without team-up abilities. But, man, he would be a lot higher if I was trying to match him with the Scarlet Witch. But alone as a character, I think he's in a good spot, in the good tier, behind the Groot and in front of the Thor. Alright, up next we got Penny. And for me, she's on the cusp of being okay, but for now I'm going to leave her in mid. And the reason why is because I think she's very situational. She has her nest, which you can use to obviously plant mines, and you can stop a lot of divers from coming in. And you have your web, which can stun people and take them out. The problem is that when you go into the higher ranks, people know, hey, just destroy the nest and you'll be okay, which is kind of true. Unless you have like a really skilled Penny, if that nest is gone, you're not gonna get a lot of damage. Now, if you are playing on defense, like if you're trying to stop a convoy from moving, she's really good in that sense. She could put a nest in the corner and kill like 5 people if they're not careful. Same with controlling the point. If you get in a good spot, you can get a couple good picks. Problem is on offense, it's almost not impossible, but it's pretty hard to get those same picks with a nest because you have to be moving it constantly, getting the mines in right places, and if you're too far up, you got to get rid of it and place it again. And that could be a mission. So I'm going to put her in mid, very good on defense, not as good on offense. So that's the reason why she's down there. Alright guys, next up we got Venom. And Venom for me, he's okay. He goes right in the middle. Because although he's really good at what he does, he's very simple at the end of the day. And he could be pretty easy to pick up on. Either if that's you're playing him or you're going against him. Now, he's a diving tank, he's the best diving tank in the game, in my opinion. He can swing behind the back line, take lots of damage, and do lots of damage back. And right before he's going to die, you can just press your shield, and you're there for like another 5 seconds. And then by that time, your swing's already back. You can just get out of there before you die again. And your cooldowns are relatively small. Like, you're able to really go back and forth over and over. But if the team is focusing you, you're going to die. And he has a lot of counters. Like Namor, for example, he's good on any dive, but his octopuses are going to be able to get you out of the way pretty quick. Same with Cloak and Dagger. If you're blinded, it's going to be hard to get your headshots, and you need to hit your headshots with Venom because he just doesn't do a lot of damage like that. His ult, it's okay. It's more meant to take away the shield and the health from your opponents and set your teammates up for picks rather than get killed yourself. But I'll give Venom his props. He's really good at what he does. He's okay for now. That'll probably change in future tier list videos, but we'll see. Alright guys, next up is Hulk, and Hulk for me is going to be the first meta pick of the video. Now, when the game first came out in December, people were saying that this was the worst character in the game. They didn't know how to use him, he didn't do a lot of damage, he was just mid all around. Fast forward to January, this guy is getting banned in high elos all the time. His pick rate is insanely high now, and he's just really good. This character knows how to survive. He can jump around, he's hard to kill with a lot of health, and he can shield himself and his allies from incoming ults or abilities. He does a lot of damage with his punches. He can also stun people with his shriek ability, whether they're flying away or they're right in front of you, and they're stuck there until you hit them, or like around 5 seconds, pretty much. He has a clap where that does long range damage as well, and his ultimate is really good in disrupting what the enemy team has going on for them. If you pop your ult, you're just swinging, you're knocking people back and forth, and if you could target their support or their weak DPS, you can grab them and just throw them around like in the movie. And it is so satisfying to land. You probably won't kill anyone with it. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but if you got them low, they're going to die. But Hulk now is really, really good. His team up with Iron Man is probably the best one in the game, but he doesn't get anything from that. So I'm not going to put that into his ranking. But either way, he, for me, is the first meta pick of this video. But he won't be the last one. Alright, guys. Last but certainly not least, we got Doctor Strange, who, in my opinion, is the best tank in the game. Now, he did get a nerf in the beginning of Season 1, but it hasn't mattered. This guy is still balling in the higher elos. He still does lots of damage, and he's able to keep enemies in check with his massive shield. And his ultimate ability is probably the best in the game, behind Luna Snow, of course. And the things you're able to do with your portals, if you have the creativity for it, you could do it. Anything you want to do with those portals, you can do. It's absolutely game changing. Not to mention, his team up with Hulk is really good for his Maelstrom ability. Obviously, I'm not putting that into his ranking because this is a individual ranking, but it doesn't matter. This guy for me is still the top of the top when it comes to the tanks. And as of right now, I don't see anyone getting close to beating him at the moment. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me and my first Marvel Rivals tier list. I can't wait to make more content for you guys. The next video I make is going to be a DPS tier list that I plan on putting right on top of this one. So you'll see new characters come into it, and you'll start to see characters go up and down. I'm not going to tell you who though. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe. It'll help a lot. Anyways, let's catch you guys in the next one. Peace.